The first element we need to talk about for your mocktails at home is your glassware. That free plastic cup you got at some restaurant is not going to cut it. You're a grown up and you need a glass. So one of my standard go-tos is a wide mouth mason. I like the wide mouth because I can muddle things. I can kind of get in there, mix around, kind of see what's going on. I do love a stemless wine glass. They're beautiful. This is kind of a really nice fancy thin one. And this is fun for when we're making a little bit more decorative mocktails. You can use glasses that you maybe used for booze in the past, or maybe someone in your house still drinks. This is a fun glass and it kind of makes you feel a little bit special. So wherever you're at in your journey, if you still feel comfortable using liquor glasses, go ahead. No one has to know what's in it, only you. I like finding fun glasses at thrift stores. I have a local thrift store. Sometimes they have like a 50-cent table. That's where I got this sucker. There's only one of them, but this would be kind of fun for like a tropical drink. I don't know. It sort of has like a Tahiti vintage pineapple vibe, pineapple-y to me. So have fun, experiment with glassware. And it was only 50 cents. So if it breaks, I'm not gonna be super upset about it. And maybe I donate it back. I also kind of like to have a small rocks glass on hand. This is good for sweeter drinks that I might be more inclined to just sip on. Sometimes if you have a bigger cup, you can feel like you got to fill the whole thing. So keeping some smaller glasses on hand for maybe some products that are a little bit more special, a little bit more sweet that you don't want to drink as much of might be a good option. I also love a classics rocks glass. This one's heavy. This is real crystal. These were a wedding gift. This is a fancy glass and it makes me feel fancy when I drink it. So whatever I put in here is going to feel special. So that's a great start. Another thing to think about is your ice. So I'm lucky that I have an ice maker that makes these big old chunks in cubes. You might think about getting some of the square whiskey rocks silicone ice trays to make some ice that's not going to water your drink down. Alcohol can actually like numb our senses. We're going to be tasting everything when we're drinking a mocktail because we don't have that element. So picking a larger ice cube is going to melt less fast. So thinking about getting some good quality ice cube trays. Those are kind of like your start. So we need a glass and we need some ice. Okay. We are halfway to our mocktail here with a glass and some ice. One of the next most really important things we need to talk about is citrus. Citrus is very common in mocktails and cocktails, but what is an epidemic is the way people are abusing citrus, and I will not stand for it. So I'm going to show you how to properly treat citrus. I'm going to peel this little nub off here. Don't really need that. And one of the things you can do, this one's pretty hard, depending on, usually fruit is softer when it's riper. This one's pretty hard. But what you can do to kind of soften it and get more juice out of it, you're going to roll it out. We're going to roll out this citrus. I might even, like those ends, kind of hit it on the counter a little bit there. You can massage it with your thumbs and just kind of keep on rolling it. This also wakes up the oils that are inherent naturally in the peel of the citrus. And the proper way how good bartenders are trained to cut citrus, we're going to take the ends off and then we're going to cut it into wedges. So I'm taking my end off here. Taking my end off here. Some good knife skills practice is to work with flat sides here. I'm going to slice it here. So I have two halves. My half goes down again. At this point, if I can see the seeds, I might like pick some seeds out. Here's where things go wrong. So I see this a lot. If you've been at a bar, restaurant, whatever, you order kind of one of my standard mocktails when I'm out and about, I'll order club with citrus. They give you this little thing. What are you going to do with that? And they slice it so thin and it just kind of falls apart in your hand. That is not the way to cut citrus for a cocktail or mocktail. Forget about this. We don't want that anymore. Get out of here. What we're going to do, I'm going to probably cut this into fours here. And I cut it in half so that I can get it even. And then I'm going to cut it again. That, my friends, is a real citrus wedge. And this will sit nicely atop the side of a glass. And what's great is you're grown up, you have larger finger. You can get your whole finger on this without it falling apart. So this guy, people end up, they just get smushy and you can hardly get anything out of it. This is a real citrus wedge. And when we're building mocktails, we really need that flavor element in there, those fresher flavors to make us feel like we're having something a little bit out of the ordinary and a little bit special. So that is how you properly cut citrus. So per citrus, you're going to probably get like 8 to 6 slices. This is a smaller lime. I might only get 4 slices out of this lime. Really important to kind of talk about citrus. If you don't want to have to mess with citrus on a regular basis, I like to kind of buy the bag of them, keep them on hand. And especially like if you're serving guests, these are nice to have as a pretty garnish, and they're usually pretty affordable. You can keep on hand. This brand is Santa Cruz. It is pure lime juice. And I think this has better flavor than the little plastic lemon lime squeezy things. It's got a more natural taste to it. And I feel like it's more concentrated. So it goes a really long way. So that's kind of our citrus deal. So we're going to start building our mocktail. I've got my pretty crystal glass here. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more ice in. I want to maybe not have to get up off the couch a bunch of times, or if I'm hanging out on my patio, I don't want to have to come back in and remake my cocktail or my mocktail. The mocktail, first one that I'm going to build for you guys, I'm going to use a flavored sparkling water. So this already, I got flavor in. Sparkling water tastes good on its own, right? It's in a can, it's ready to go. So we're just going to try to like ratchet it up a little bit by adding some fresh things. So I've got my sparkling soda here. I've got about half of the cup in there. I'm just going to throw a splash of lime juice in, and a splash is probably a tablespoon or so. And the next thing I'm going to add is kumquat. So this is like one of my tropical flavored mocktails. And how I know I can eat this is it has a supplement fact on it. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 drops of essential oils in here. You could also use like flavor extracts. Just be careful. You know, again, everyone's on a different place with their alcohol-free journey, but there can be alcohol in some of the extracts. That's kind of what I like about essential oils is they don't really have anything added to them. They are the pure plant product. So those are my fresh elements. And then I might also just add, like, I got the lemon here. I'm going to add a squeeze of lemon, and I have a mocktail in like 2 minutes. So that's my first mocktail of the night. Ooh. We have layers of citrus flavor. Kumquat technically isn't a citrus, but it kind of mirrors citrus flavors. And this was super simple. It actually has a ton of flavor in it. If you wanted to, you could even cut it with club soda if you want to kind of make your mocktails stretch a little bit further.